This is about, relying on the citizens' capacity to act together and emerge stronger out of each and every crisis.
Combines so many factors that are really unique that it's not easy to say the one that is the most important. Also not possible to say that one sector is most influenced. But going back to your question, we should start with inflation, because inflation is really evil. And that's why it's really so important to get inflation under control. Those businesses that have high consumption of energies will be sooner or later affected. Inflation is such a high that the income of people, the wages or other income, is just declining. The real income is declining. So obviously people have less money to spend. They need to save more money, to have money to pay electricity bills, to buy the foods that is more expensive. The government should provide the support for businesses, for households, but at the same time we should have in mind that if support will be strong enough, inflation will stay high, and inflation is very evil. We need to get inflation down.
For the vulnerable people, right now the choice would be, or it already is, in between paying the bills or ensuring a proper meal for their children. So what we are seeing right now is a huge pressure on the have-nots of our society, of the ones that already were really badly hit during the pandemic. And right now, again, they are suffering because of this particular crisis. We see that the vulnerable people are affected, but we also see that categories of medium income population have been started to fall towards the vulnerability. So this is indeed an important social crisis after all. We do have an issue here that is very important. So if we will invest in this kind of energy efficiency projects, in helping diminishing the bills and then dependence on electricity, this would mean that we will be able to do two things at the same time. On one hand, to look at our ambition here at the European level to push the green transition, to be top in technologies that would help us, and at the same time to have our citizens less dependent on this kind of volatility related to energy and so on. In terms of the SMEs, very, very quickly on this one, it's also very important to create a safety net so that if we have right now issues in terms of the capacity available of energy, we will be able to put forward schemes such as the ones used in pandemic, so that if there will be temporary close downs, at least we will be able to react immediately and have the necessary resources. And we have this kind of tools at European level that helped tremendously the business sector during the pandemic. And these are part of the lessons learned that we can use right now.
Most economists would say, try to be as targeted as possible. Help the vulnerable ones. I guess it's even time to support the lower mid-income people because they are suffering too, but try to avoid very, very broad supportive measures that are expensive for the fiscal and also has more potential to create inflation. It will take time before we get out from high inflation. But we really should not extend this period for longer than necessary. Obviously, the work of the central bank is very delicate because it's not only getting from very high inflation, maybe even to negative inflation, it's about landing at the zone of low inflation. This is very delicate job, and this would be a way how to reduce the cost of this inflation.
The recovery and resilience plans are right now starting to kick in and have their role. Repower is just going directly targeting citizens. And then you have all the other measures that are going to come up with investments in increasing energy supply, reducing demand. And this would be the way in which Europe is reacting.
In March, if you would ask anyone here if we can handle without Russian gas, the reply would be no, because we were 40% depending on the gas. Now the Russian gas is almost gone and we know that we will handle.
That EU policy shouldn't be about spreading helicopter money and populist promises or nationalist things that we need to go back to our turf. This is about relying on the citizens' capacity to act together and to emerge stronger out of each and every crisis.